From the Detroit Free Press, it's Thursday, February 4th. Here are today's top stories, presented by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Bush's has over 4,000 Michigan products, including the freshest fruit and vegetables, meat, seafood, and baked goods. Stop by one of Bush's 16 locations for the personal service you expect from your neighborhood grocer.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Keith Matheny. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, or more likely because of it, Michigan residents took to the woods and water in a big way in 2020. Fishing license unique customers increased 9% over the previous year, the Michigan DNR reports. And that jump included a whopping 41% increase in new customers and a 21% spike in female customers. Deer hunting license sales were up 5.5%, reversing years of small but steady declines. And waterfowl hunting licenses were up 40%. Michigan's rediscovery of the great outdoors wasn't just limited to hunting and fishing. The DNR reported that off-road vehicle licenses, trail usage, and state park reservations also rose amid COVID-19. Since license and outdoor recreation fees are vital to the DNR's funding, officials are now trying to figure out how to keep the momentum going, even as things perhaps return closer to normal in 2021.
I'm John Wisely of the Detroit Free Press. The COVID pandemic has created countless problems for Michigan schools. The latest one? Staffing shortages. School employees, everyone from teachers and principals to bus drivers and lunch aides, are retiring at a growing pace. In 2020, school retirements rose 13% in Michigan. The retirements really accelerated in September, just as schools were returning after months of pandemic closures. Education leaders say many teachers and other staffers just did not want to deal with online learning, personal protective equipment, and the risk of contracting COVID. Districts are getting creative to fill the spots, including new programs that help paraprofessionals become certified teachers. The state also is allowing retired teachers to return to the classrooms temporarily without reducing their pensions. Experts say staffing shortages were already a problem before COVID, but the pandemic has just made them worse.
I'm Frank Witzel with the Detroit Free Press. A new screening tool for use in emergency rooms could better detect and prevent youth suicides. The tool, named CASSI, short for Computerized Adaptive Screen for Suicidal Youth, is one of the latest efforts to address teen suicide, an increasing concern during the pandemic. The study's lead author, Cheryl King, said there's an urgent need for this tool. Among teens, suicide is the second leading cause of death, and King and other researchers hope the computerized suicide prevention system will be used by emergency departments nationwide. The tool is designed to predict an adolescent suicide risk, alerting caregivers to which ones need follow-up interventions, according to Michigan medicine-led findings published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. In the study, the screening system predicted suicide risk attempts with 88% accuracy. Researchers said emergency departments are a good place for suicide risk screenings because nearly 1 out of 5 adolescents visit them during a year. In addition, emergency room visits for youth suicide risk and self-harm have also doubled.
This is Brian McCullum, music writer with the Detroit Free Press. A Detroit collector of Black history artifacts is marking his 30th anniversary with a new exhibit spotlighting hip-hop. The exhibit, titled Hip Hop Icons, opened this week at Saginaw Valley State University, featuring more than 170 items from the archives of Khalid El Hakim. El Hakim, a longtime teacher with ties to Detroit's hip-hop scene, is the owner of the Black History 101 Mobile Museum, which he launched in the 90s as a way to show off artifacts from his growing personal collection. He has staged various themed exhibitions in more than 40 states and 500 institutions, including the University of Michigan and New York's Lincoln Center. The latest project includes items from across hip-hop's long history, from early flyers for Bronx rap parties to memorabilia tied to some of today's biggest stars. There's also an emphasis on the Detroit scene, including items from El Hakim's days with the late rapper Proof, with whom he worked closely in the 90s and 2000s. For now, in-person tours are available only to Saginaw Valley State students, but a 360-degree virtual tour is available online, and you can check out our story at freep.com for full details. In conjunction with the exhibit, El Hakim is also part of a discussion series highlighting hip-hop-related films, including 8 Mile, Beach Street, Do the Right Thing, and a new documentary on late Michigan rapper MC Breed. The virtual fest includes guests such as Public Enemy's Professor Griff and will run at 7 p.m. each Thursday in February.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department, recapping National Signing Day. We mostly assumed it would be a nice and quiet first Wednesday in February. Instead, while we were eating breakfast, the coup was in full effect. The Michigan Wolverines were able to flip the verbal commitment of Oak Park defensive lineman Rashawn Benny away from Michigan State, and the star defensive lineman signed with U of M yesterday. It did nothing but fan the flames of the ever-burning rivalry between the in-state schools. Benny, who missed much of this last season with a knee injury, was a catalyst for Oak Park's surprising playoff run. He will now try to help the Wolverines turn around their fortunes from a disappointing 2020. The Spartans, meanwhile, have been among the busiest teams in the country in working the transfer portal. They are going through off-season conditioning right now in East Lansing.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you're a fan and want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to freep.com/special offer.